about fear. And he said the same thing, it's a perception, you know? And in a lot of instances, fear is not, the thing that we fear is not even real, it hasn't happened. But because of our mind, we allow it to just get totally out of control. And then we talked about Saul, and we saw how Saul allowed fear to derail Yahweh's purpose in his life, and how he lost the kingdom to David. And today we're going to look at David, because today we're going to talk about the fear of Yahweh. And the word says that the fear of Yahweh is in Psalms 111 verse 10. It says the fear of Yahweh is the beginning of wisdom. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. His praise endureth forever.
Hallelujah.
Now let's go into 1 Samuel again. That's where we were the last time. And so we're going to go to 1 Samuel chapter 24. Now we know in the story of David and Saul that after Yahweh took his spirit away from Saul, you know, Saul was just up and down and all over the place. One minute he's for David, the next minute he wants to kill him and all that, you know? And so we have two stories here we're going to talk about with David. Now this one is Samuel 24. We're going to begin from verse 3. It says, 1 Samuel chapter 24, verse 3. It says, when Saul returned from following the Philistine, he was told, behold, David is in the wilderness of En-Gedi. Then Saul took 3,000 chosen men out of all Israel and went to seek David, and his men in front of the wild goats rock. And he came to the sheepfold by the way where there was a cave. Sorry, everybody is. First Samuel chapter 24. Everybody has that? You're not reading that? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so now I'm reading at 3. And he came to the sheepfold by the way where there was a cave, and Saul went in to relieve himself. Now David and his men were sitting in the innermost parts of the cave. And the man of David said to him, here is the day of which Yahweh said to you, behold, I will give your enemy into your hand, and you shall go, and you shall do to him as it shall seem good to you. Then David arose and stealthily cut off a corner of Saul's robe, and afterward David's heart struck him because he had cut off a corner of Saul's robe. He said to his men, Yahweh forbid that I should do this thing to my Lord, Yahweh's anointed, to put out my hand against him, seeing he is Yahweh's anointed. So David persuaded his men with those words and did not permit them to attack Saul. And Saul rose up and left the cave and went on his way. Afterwards David arose and went out of the cave and called after Saul, my lord the king. And when Saul looked behind him, David bowed with his head to the earth and paid homage. And David said to Saul, why do you listen to the words of men who say, behold, David, seek your harm? Behold, this day your eyes have seen how Yahweh gave you today into my hand in the cave. And some told me to kill you, but I spared you. I said, I will not put out my hand against my Lord, for he is Yahweh's anointed. See, my father, see the corner of your robe in my hand, for by the fact that I cut off the corner of your robe and did not kill you, you may know and see that there is no wrong or treason in my hand. I have not sinned against you, though you hunt my life to take it. May Yahweh judge between me and you. May Yahweh avenge me against you, but my hand shall not be against you. As the proverb of the ancient says, out of the wicked comes wickedness, but my hand shall not be against you. After whom has the king of Israel come out? After whom do you pursue? After a dog? After a flea? May Yahweh therefore be judge and give sentence between me and you, and see to it, and plead my cause, and deliver me from your hand. As soon as David had finished speaking these words to Saul, Saul said, Is that your voice, my son David? And Saul lifted up his voice and wept. He said to David, You are more righteous than I, for you have repaid me good, whereas I have repaid you evil. And you have declared this day how you have dealt well with me, in that you did not kill me when Yahweh put me into your hands. For if a man finds his enemy, will he let him go away safe? So may Yahweh reward you with good for what you have done to me this day. And now, behold, I know that you shall surely be king, and that the kingdom of Israel shall be established in your hand. Swear to me, therefore, by Yahweh, that you will not cut off my offspring after me, and that you will not destroy my name out of my father's house. And David swore this to Saul. Then Saul went home, but David and his men went up to the stronghold. Okay, so we see here that David had an opportunity to kill Saul. And I know anywhere in the world right now, if that situation was to present itself, Saul would have been there. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. Okay? But in this story, we see that David feared Yahweh. The word says the fear of Yahweh is the beginning of wisdom. David acted in wisdom. And he didn't kill Saul. He had every right because he knew it was kill or be killed. But he didn't follow that rule. You understand? He trusted in Yahweh. That showed his fear of Yahweh. He trusted Yahweh. And that's the fear of Yahweh. Wisdom. So you trust in Yahweh and you believe in him and you wait for him to work your situations out. And that was what David did right there. There was another opportunity that David had to kill Saul. They were in another place. Well, Saul and his men were sleeping somewhere, and they were chasing David at that time also. And David sent out some spies, and he got word of where Saul was. And he went down into the camp while Saul was sleeping. And Saul had his sword by his head, his sword and his jug. And, you know, there again, David's man was like, kill him, man, kill him, you know. Because let me tell you something, the men who were with David, they weren't men of great stature. Because if you read in the story, it said that the people who, like they had gripe and stress and whatever, all the wayward people, they were the ones who came to David, and David took them in. So you know, David had to be strong in what he believed in for those men not to persuade him in a different direction. Okay? So we know that David really trusted Yahweh because these were the people who he had to put his life in their hands because they were the ones he trusted to keep him safe when, you know, when whatever they were doing, they were his backup. And so for them to say, come on, kill him, and David said, no, I'm not going to touch Yahweh's anointed. He stepped back. That showed his character and how much he feared Yahweh Almighty. Okay? So when David and I think two men went down with him, and they took the sword and they took the water jug and they left. Well, the gentleman who was with David, he said, let me strike him. I don't even need to hit him once. I ain't got to hit him twice. Just once. And he'll be finished, you know. But David was like, we ain't having that. Let's get when we come forward, let's go. So they took the water jug and the sword and they left. And so when Saul got up, you know, David had his talks again and told him, see, I could have killed you another time, but I didn't do that. And there were many other times when David could have killed Saul. We know that one time David was playing the harp when Saul had the evil spirit that was tormenting him. And Saul threw a spear at David and David escaped. Now we know that Saul was an old man, and if David wanted to, he could have gotten up and attacked Saul. But what did he do? He left. He walked away from that situation. And then, like he said to Saul, he said, may Yahweh judge between me and you. And may Yahweh do what is supposed to be done on my behalf for me. You understand? Because I have not put my hands out towards you. Okay? And so Now, when we bring that down to what we're dealing with today in this country, you know, when the FNM got into power this last time, right? We had all kind of propaganda, true things and negative and lies that came out about the PLP, right? I mean, if a dog had run with the FNM, the dog would have gotten in. That's because all that stuff that came out, you know, it kind of made the people really angry. And I mean, it was true things. Some of the things were true because I was angry. I was angry about a lot of things, you know. And so, but if we look at how David dealt with his situation, because mind you, if we look at all the stories that happened with David, we can't truly say that he knew God was going to do. He knew God was going to give him the kingdom. He was anointed king, but David was running from Saul for many years before he finally came into his heritage. So I wouldn't really say that David knew for sure beyond a shadow of a doubt that this was his and all that stuff. But yet still, look at how he behaved. You understand? He trusted Yahweh. And so with us today, I'm looking at us and we're talking about righteous government. David behaved righteously. We're talking about bringing in a righteous government. So we need to act righteously. You understand? I don't want to see us when we get to the place when it's time for elections and what have you, we're slandering people, talking bad about them, looking for negative things to say or to do. You know, we need to do as David did, trust in Yahweh. Have faith in Yahweh and let Yahweh bring us through this process. Let him work through the process just as he worked for David. He eventually caused David to inherit the kingdom. Even we have Jonathan. Jonathan was like David's right arm. But Jonathan didn't, even if he had lived, he had said he was going to be David's armor bearer or whatever, what have you. But he didn't live. But David got his inheritance through standing on Yahweh's word, standing and doing what he knew Yahweh wanted him to do as an individual. And that's what I want us to look at for what we're going to be doing going forward. We have to stand in righteousness for this nation. We have to call on Yahweh and let him be the one to guide us and to show us what we need to do and how we need to move forward concerning this nation. I truly believe that we're going to have righteous government. I know we were supposed to have righteous government in 2012. Trust me, when that didn't happen, I was under the ground. I was very, very upset. And I was like, you know what? This thing ain't true. This ain't true. And I just kind of threw it away, you know? But my spirit is building back to this, and I'm really looking forward to righteous government taking place in this nation. We need change in this place. We need change. And so I'm looking forward to Yahweh doing it. But as his people, we're his soldiers. We're the ones in his army. We need to make sure that we're in right standing. We're in the right place that we're supposed to be to cause Yahweh to work through us and in us. Okay? Now there's another story of, you know, this man who, he had the fear of Yahweh in his life, and this was Elisha. And you know, there was this king who was warring with Israel. And every time he planned something, Elisha would say, hey, tell the king of Israel, hey, this is what he's planning, and watch yourself. And so he was never able to do what he wanted to do. So one time he called him, and he was like, okay, so who in here for the king of Israel? Because somebody in here has to be telling him what we're doing. And so one of the men said, no, said there's a prophet in Israel who knows everything. He knows what even you're saying in your bedroom. And he said, he's the one who's telling the king of Israel what it is that you're doing. So the king sent them to go and get Elijah. You know, I guess he figured he was going to kill him. So when they went down, one morning when Elisha's servant went outside, I mean, they were just totally surrounded by this army. And he started to fear. So Elisha said, fear not, because they are more with us than are with them. Okay? Hallelujah. And so he prayed for Yahweh to open his eyes. And when Yahweh opened up the eyes of his servant, I mean, he just saw all the chariots of fire and the host of Yahweh's army that was there, right? And so then Elisha prayed again, and he asked Yahweh to close the eyes of the men who would come to get him. And Yahweh did that. And then he said, come this way, let me show you all where to go. So he he grabbed them and they followed him. And he took them right into the midst of their enemy. And so then he prayed and he said, open their eyes. And Yahweh opened their eyes. And there they were. And the king of Israel was like, ooh, what should I do? What should I do? Should I kill them? Should I kill them? And I just said, no. Put bread and water before them and send them home. Okay? And so that's what they did. They gave them something to eat and sent them home. And you know those people, the word says that they never came back to bother with Israel again. And so that, we have these examples for us to follow. We have more who are with us than who is with the enemy. So we have an advantage, and that's what we always say, we're in a fight, but the fight is fixed, right? So if we have a fixed fight, we shouldn't lose, right? So let us stand strong in what we know concerning Yahweh. Let us call on him, let us have our ears open. So that means whatever we have in our lives that is blocking whatever Yahweh is saying to us, we need to get rid of it so that we can hear what Yahweh is saying, so that we can know what we can do. And when we go forward, we're taking sure steps, because we know that what we're doing is what Yahweh has commanded us to do. And that is how we're going to get things done in this nation.
Hallelujah.
And so in closing, you know, y'all know me, I don't talk long, right? So in closing, people of Yahweh, like I said, there are more with us than there are in the world. And the word says, greater is he who is within us than he that is in the world. We have the power of Almighty Yahweh in our lives to help us to be strong, to go forward with might and with power. Let us call upon the name of our Father, of our Savior, of our Redeemer, and let him take us forward in this army, with this army, to go forth in power and in might, to redeem this nation from the hand of the enemy, to redeem this people from the hand of the enemy, and to cause this nation to become what Yahweh has called it to be, the ensign to the nations of the world.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.